Okay, Hillies Meats in San Remo, the prime place for prime beef, and Hillies proprietor and head butcher, Bradley Drew. What do you got for us, Bradley?
Yeah, g'day James. So tonight I'm going to show our lovely punters out there how we break down a hind quarter of beef, or for the simple people out there, a back leg off the cow. So this hind quarter, out of this we get our T-bone steak at porterhouse. We get our eye fillet steak, which runs down inside the beast. It's the only muscle on a cow that's on the inside. Every other muscle on a cow is on the outside of the beast. So we're going to have our porterhouse steak, our T-bone steak, our eye fillet, your beautiful rump steak there, our butting steak, or round steak as it's called, our top side there, which the girls will know for roasting. And then you've got your silver side here and your shin beef, which can be your osso bucco and or your gravy beef, depending on what you want to do with it, James. So we'll get into it. If you've got any questions, mate, as we go,
yep,
you just sing out and I'll do my best to answer them as we go.
No worries. So what's the origins of this animal, mate?
Right, all of our beef down here at Hillies Meats in San Remo comes from Gippsland. It's all hormone free, all grass-fed beef too. We generally work on 18 months to 2 years of age for our beef, around about 200 kilos of body. So this piece here that we're pulling out of the muscle is the eye fillet steak. So really good steak for young children. It's very soft on the palate, very tender meat, and it doesn't take a lot of cooking, James. We just mark across the bone there. It's where the T-bone separates from your rump steak. Just in there.
Now, of course, having a good piece of produce to work with is only part of the equation on having a good steak. It's also the way it's butchered and the way it's cooked. And no doubt that the processes used at Hillie Meats are going to enhance the already terrific animal that we're working with.
The great, I love the way you speak, James. I love the way you speak. So there you have your T-bone. Beautiful. We'll trim that up for the girls at home so that they can cook their men a lovely, nice, juicy T-bone steak. It's what we call the cod fat. Wraps around the kidney of the beast. Trim that excess off there, just underneath that muscle. Now you've got a steak there now that's ready for slicing, and that would form your T-bone steak. So as you can see, a beautiful piece of meat, nice covering of fat, good eye in it. Then you go to your fillet, your eye fillet. This is what we call in the trade the butt of the fillet. It's the top end of the fillet. You get a nice medallion steak out of this. Lightly cooked. If you overcook your eye fillet, you'll find it'll tend to dry out and toughen up. So probably 3 to 4 minutes on each side with your fillet, and you're done and dusted.
And of course, you don't need to go too heavy with any sauces or anything like that. Just a bit of whole grain mustard or something after that, 3 or 4 minutes each side, and mate, you'd be bang on, wouldn't you?
You don't want to spoil the natural flavours of the hormone-free Gippsland beef. And there we have a nice little butt fillet. Look at that, magnificent. Just take that little bit of underfat out of there. And you'd be happy to see that on your plate, wouldn't you? Fantastic. Okay, we move into our porterhouse steak now. A little bit of the tail end of the fillet there. Just put that aside. Just coming down the back, the spine of the beast. Always important to make sure, like any tradesman, his tools of trade are nice and sharp. And as all the boys know, in this shop, I've got the sharpest tool in the shop.
Now, of course, if people are visiting Phillip Island, Hilliesmeats is the place to stop on the way through in San Remo. But for people not coming down here, they can get Hilliesmeats at other outlets around Melbourne. Is that correct?
Mate, we're fortunate enough at the moment, through from Foster, right through to around about St Kilda in Melbourne, you can purchase a Hilliesmeats product in 27-11 outlets and about 5 or 6 IGA supermarkets throughout Victoria, and expanding. So there's our porterhouse steak, nice little primal cut there. So you've got our T-bone, we've got our porterhouse, we've got our eye fillet. Now we'll move into the rumps.
Now, some of these cuts over here are grossly underrated, I would think. The punters tend to go for the big 3 that we've already done. But there's some good meat still to be had on this animal, isn't there?
Absolutely. I mean, your rump steak, which we're getting into now. I've just got to concentrate a bit here while I take this out, James. And then we have our primal. That's our rump. Now, when cooking the rump steak, because it is a very large steak, the best way to cook your rump is to cook it whole. The rump steak is made up of 5 muscles, and of course if you cook your steak, pardon me, if you cut your steak, sorry, before you cook it, what happens is those 5 muscles will actually shrink